notice is a lot of black women on the phone. And that's the dynamic of call centers sometimes, right? A lot of black women scrambling on the phone, talking, call after call after call. But then you look at other people in the organization that look a little different than us. And I'm saying to myself, well, I'm not in that position. I have a bachelor's degree, a master's degree. I'm talented, I'm qualified. So what I've realized is other people are able to tap into their network. So I said, well, let me create one of my own. And that's how we created Pay It Forward Networking Group. Although you see me, this is a team effort. I cannot do this alone. I am not going to start this off without giving thanks to my team. Nadia, who assists with technology, to my board, to Brianna Williams, to Kendra Brown, Samantha Justice Kelly, and Shy Jones, who couldn't be here today. But ladies, know this. Anything that you do, you need a partner. You need support, you need unity, you need community. And that's what these ladies give me. So I can't say it enough, but thank y'all. Thank you. Thank you. Now, while we're here today, Makeba is my childhood friend. Um, and so I wanted to create something that, that term of give her flowers. I think sometimes we wait until it's too late to tell people why we appreciate them, what value they bring, and to let other people know who they are. So we're going to celebrate her today. And the beauty is y'all are here. Thank y'all for showing up, for showing out. Y'all look good. My sisters look good. I'm sorry I'm covering you up, baby. But me and Makeba have been friends since childhood. And I'm gonna tell a story. So Makeba always, although we are at the same age, she always seemed much older because she was very mature and she's always been an entrepreneur. Makeba's been doing hair since her mother lived out Claymont. And was doing my hair then when we were growing up. Makeba would come pick me up. I live in Wilmington, take me to her mom's, do my hair, then take me back home. She always had a hustler's mentality. So look what the hustling spirit gets you, right? But let's be honest that this journey wasn't overnight. It wasn't easy, right? But she's going to hear, we're going to have a conversation about how she got here, what she has going on, and we're going to pay it forward to provide some resources. And Troy will join the conversation as to how now you as Black women can be inspired to start your own business, to scale your business, to leverage your business. So we want to provide you with not just the information, but the resources. Does that sound good? All right. Now this is intimate. So I want y'all to get involved, right? This is not going to be right if y'all just sitting looking at us. We want y'all to tap in, right? Tap in. This sisterhood, is community in here, so get comfortable. All right.
We family.
We family.
At this point.
Makeba, would you like to introduce yourself?
Okay, but first of all, can I get something real quick?
Yes, here.
Do I gotta hold this mic? Really? The whole time?
For the live.
Is it on?
Yeah, because we have people online, so for them to better hear us.
Okay, well, I first want to say thank you to my Lord and Savior for having us all join today. And I'm grateful for everybody that is here. I also want to thank my team, Dynasty Styling. First of all, I'm Makeba Griffin, for those who don't know. I want to thank Pay It Forward Networking Group for hosting this event. And I also want to thank my team, Dynasty Styling Studios. Would y'all stand up? Everybody here. So we have, listen, this is my team. Nothing can be done alone. It's no I and us. This is Adama Teray. Say hi, Addie. This is Malaya. This is my blood, Cynthia Mighty. My backbone, my support, my other blood, Cambria. Yes, so it's grateful to have family. Dynasty means when a group of leaders come together, and all of these young ladies are leaders, and I just want to recognize them and appreciate them. So can y'all give them a small round of applause? So I also want to recognize Nisha Jones. Can I get something real quick? I got something. One second, guys. Samantha, pull it out.
She went in the closet, y'all. What she getting? What she getting? She didn't went in the closet.
So Nisha talked about recognizing and you,
Oh, my
Misha,
friend.
for recognizing me and giving me my flowers. So I present this to you. And here you are. God bless you. I love you so much. You're doing amazing things. And as you celebrate me, I'm celebrating you. I love y'all.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. And I appreciate that because sometimes when you do nonprofit work, you don't know, is it really making an impact? Or people paying attention? Am I really sending a message? So thank you. As we
You're
pay it
welcome.
forward, sometimes I need to pay it forward to myself too. So, and that's a message for you. Celebrate yourself, even when nobody else will. But thank you for celebrating me
You're
today.
welcome. Well deserved.
All right, so let's start this conversation off. Hair.
Hey.
How did you start this love of hair? Where did this come from?
God gave me my gift very early on. As I was a little girl, me playing with my Barbie dolls. They was my first clients, y'all. I used to sit with my Barbie dolls and like talk to them as if they were my clients. So I was always passionate about hair. I feel like God always gave me my vision very, very early on. So I always knew what I wanted to do. Yes.
Wonderful, wonderful. So when we talk about vision, you just always knew that this is what you wanted to do?
Yes. Yes. I have a friend of mine, Jasmine Wilson. She's not here. She said she was coming. But she said she remembered when we were 9 years old, me telling her that one day I would eventually have my own salon. So I always knew like this is what I would be doing. My mom wanted me to go to college. That's not the vision that I had. I was supposed to go to Cheney University actually for psychology. I went up there for my orientation. Long story short, they told me how much I was going to get in financial aid. I cried like a baby. I said, I said, Mom, this is not what I want to do. Please. I was going for her because us as a culture, we are go to college. Now, college, I'm not against school. I'm not against that, but it's not for everybody.
That is correct.
So I cried like a baby and I said, I don't want to go. I want to do hair. So from there, I didn't go to Cheney. I started working in the salon.
Okay. Now, what I want y'all to take from this is what Makeba said is it's options out there, right? You have to find your path. And I think the beautiful thing about the times that we live in is there's so many different resources for us to be able to be successful as Black women, that if you want to take a trade, if you want to do entrepreneurship, if you want to go to college. I went to college. I still work full time at the bank. We're equally successful. We just chose different patterns and find success. So the biggest thing is establishing what your passion is, what it is that you love, and then finding those resources and your tribe to support you to help those things to come true. So tell me about your experience as a Black woman in business. I know this is not your first shop, right? This is not your first salon. So how has it been from starting off at your mom's, working under other people, then even now getting to where you are as a business owner? What has that progression looked like for you?
I first want to say God gives you a vision, and sometimes it's not always clear. You really don't know. So I knew that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I really didn't know that I was an entrepreneur working at Joy's Hair Boutique as subcontracting. Then my mindset, I was 19 years old. So my mindset wasn't really out me giving her $150 per week, me as a self-contractor in her establishment. My mindset then wasn't me being an entrepreneur. My mindset was grinding, hustling, doing hair. Things shifted for me when I felt like it was time for me to grow from her. Working underneath Joyce Woodland, it taught me a lot of things. It taught me some things that I want to do, and it taught me some things that I did not want to do. I knew it was time for me to venture out. I was at Joyce Hair Boutique for 9 years and 10 months, almost 10 years.
Counted that thing down.
I love you too. So almost 10 years. I said, Joyce gave me my first opportunity. So I said, I'm not leaving here until I open up my own. So when I was on 8th and Tatnall, I wasn't an entrepreneur. I was a salon owner. I wouldn't even say I knew what I was doing. I was somebody doing hair, charging people to rent booths, and kind of arrogant and not humble and not knowing the back part of entrepreneurship. I grew into an entrepreneur once I opened here. Yes.
Awesome.
I hope I ain't lose y'all.
No, you
I'm trying to
didn't.
tell y'all a lot.
That was right on point,
I'm
right?
trying to tell you.
And that leads
I'm
me.
trying to get y'all in.
No, y'all feel her, right? She's giving us what we need. So now we're going to talk about what are those hardships like? Like, how did you overcome and how did you navigate through that time where you're like, I really don't feel like I have it figured out. I think that there's more for me. I think that there's something else, but I'm not sure exactly what that is. So how did you navigate through that time?
I think it was a mindset shift. I think that life has a funny way of showing up. And how did I navigate to that time to become an entrepreneur? God pushed me. It wasn't something that I knew at the time that's what he was doing, y'all. I was like, okay, I'm gonna give y'all a brief story because I feel like that's what needs to happen. So 2014, I was on 827 North Techno Street in Wilmington. That's when I got my own salon. That's when Dynasty was created in 2014. I was opened for a little bit over 2 years, had some family issues, was forced to close, not by family issues, not financial. You know, when people go in business and they see you close, they think it's finance or you don't want it or you're giving it up. It was something that I had to let go. Okay. It wasn't by choice. I had to let it go. Got pregnant with my son in 2016, right? Work from home, y'all, in my basement. My rent was $1,250, right? I could barely pay my rent at the time, like barely. I was driving a car that I didn't want to drive, right? But I feel like in that process, God had to humble me. I didn't barely work during my pregnancy. I'm like doing a few heads a month to meet ends meet. You get what I'm saying? So it was a struggle. And also it was a sacrifice. But I felt like God, I had to go through that to humble me. So I was in my basement working, doing hair. And my son was about 9 months old. Somebody was upstairs, like watching him. And I'm like, Lord, this is not it. Like, I could have somebody clients come through the back door, but I'm very personable. So now you're in my home, you're in my space. I'm not used to that. I'm very private, but I'm very personable, if that makes sense. So clients are in my home. I'm like, okay, God. So God eventually, my son's like 9 months old. I'm barely making it. Wasn't on Medicaid or wasn't getting WIC for him. It was just the support of my family and friends, and we barely was making it. So long story short, I was at my girlfriend's daughter's um event, and God let me hear because I used to live in Foxford, and God let me hear because I used to get my nails done at the nail salon right next door. So God let me hear, and I didn't know why He was leading me here. So He said, "Go there." I was fasting at the time, right? Because when you fasting, you get a better ear from God. You get more clarity. So I'm like, I want to go to Jenny in Philly to go get my nails done. He like, no, you got to come here. So when I got out the car, right, I was parked over there. I got out the car, took 2 steps, y'all, literally 2 steps. Looked up, God said, it's yours. I knew this space was always like a salon, barbershop, but I really didn't know what was here. I didn't know if somebody was here, wasn't here. So I'm like, but the feeling got stronger. He said, it's yours. I kept walking, came closer, looked inside, and it was empty. It was empty, y'all. So I'm like, I don't have no money. I barely can pay my rent. Me and my son are barely making it. What are you talking about? It's mine. So I went next door to Ben. I'm trying to speed up the story because I know it's kind of long. But I went next door to Ben, to the salon owner next door. To the nail salon owner next door. And I said, could you give me the landlord's money? I didn't have no money in my account, y'all. I didn't have nothing. Only thing I had was the voice of God. When He speaks, He moves. When He speaks, He moves. So long story short, y'all, everything worked out. I can't give y'all the details, but it was hard. It was hard. Once I called, I have to give you small details because small details are important. Once I called the landlord, he met with me. He said, you're serious? I said, yes, I am. I said, I don't have no money, but I have a vision. And I know I can make it work. I'm in my house. I have my son, and we have to get out of my house. And what y'all don't know about these spaces, this is like you're buying a building, even though you're just leasing it. Your credit has to be a certain score. You have to have a certain amount of money in the bank to even acquire to lease this type of space, a commercial property like this. But anyway, I called. He said, I'm gonna connect you with this young lady. I end up calling the young lady, and she's like, is this Makeba? Pastor Rhonda's Makeba? I'm like, yeah. She like, I'm in a meeting with Pastor Rhonda right now. I'm like, oh.
Favor,
So
favor.
so she's like, do she know you looking for a space? The lady that I called was a young lady at PNC Bank. And I said, well, she knows I don't want to be in my home anymore. I said, but I didn't tell anyone my process and what I was doing. A lot of times, don't share stuff with people because outside noise distract things. Sometimes you just got to leave it between you and God. Okay. So when he speaks to you, kind of move quietly and swiftly. Okay. So I said, she doesn't know, but she knows I don't want to be in my home anymore. Long story short, guys, she wasn't no longer in the department to help me, but she connected me with someone. And yeah, God opened up the finances and the resources with a 500 credit score. It probably was lower than that. Okay. To provide for my provision. So I just want to say, like, if y'all don't take nothing else from this talk or this networking group, you know, I'm glad that you all are here. Take away when God speaks to you and he gives you something, even though it may seem hard to acquire, if he gives it to you, he's going to give you the provision to provide every step of the way. It was so many people that it almost took like 9 months, yo. I don't even know how long it took, but it was blood, sweat, and tears, okay? For me to even get the finance part. Shout out to what are they called? True Access Capital. But they had a long process, right? And my profile didn't meet the requirements, but I met the requirements under the grace of God. So so yeah, I mean, that's my story, y'all. That's my story. That's my struggle. God is my source and he is my resource. When you're opening up a business, when you're stepping out on faith and you're doing something new, everything is not going to add up. Everything is not going to make sense. But as long as you keep your faith and your closeness with God and that relationship with him, anything, all things are possible. People ask me all the time, how much do it cost to lease this space? This is none of your business. That's me and God's business. Amen. Okay. So yeah, I hope I didn't
this is about you today.
Look, did I answer the question?
She answered.
I don't even know what the question was.
Look, you gave us a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and a little bit of some more. Thank you. Thank you. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't realize that's how this shop started.
Yes.
I didn't realize that.
Nisha, when I tell you humble, Jesus, oh my God, for every trial, God shall triumph. Listen, I'm just going back. I gotta be honest. I was like literally at one point sleeping on my cousin's son's bed. You get what I'm saying? Like going through so many trials and affliction and adversity alone. I didn't give up. I didn't give in. I'm a fighter. Quitting. Oh, that don't exist in not Makeba Angela. Okay. I always had this too shall pass. Okay. Because God, I feel like when he gives you something that's worth keeping, you're going to have to fight for it. It's not going to be like easy. No, baby. I'm keeping it and I'm holding it. And I'm not letting go until he says it's time to let go.
That's right. That's hold on. Hold on. She gave us a lot of gems there. You gave us a lot of gems there. I know you're spiritual. I know you depend on the Lord. We all have to have some kind of foundation, some backbone, something, right, to call on. What advice do you have for the working mom that want to be entrepreneur? What advice will you give them for balancing it all out?
Number one, I think us as women, we are super women. Okay. We know how to get it done. Okay. We know how to multitask. I just said to my cousin the other day, she's a wife, she's a mother of four, she's an entrepreneur, and she has to show up for everybody the same way. Everybody's spreading you thin. I would say stay encouraged. If God gives you a plan, write it down and continue to work at your full-time job as you start your business. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's
Mhm.
good. That's good. I work a full-time job, right? I don't want to work for people for forever, but it gives me the peace of mind of knowing that at least I have a check coming in, right? At least I have some security. And then now, as we talk about resources, where Troy will join the conversation shortly, now we know how we can leverage some of those resources of using, if you have a full-time job, that means that you can make some payments on a small business loan and things like that. So how do you use your existing resources? If you're a homeowner, maybe borrowing against equity, Bree is a real estate agent in here, right? How do we use our existing resources in order to leverage the things that we want?
I would say number one, you want to make sure that your credit is in order. That being first, you want to get your business plan together. That being second, and you want to know exactly what you want to do. A vision without a plan is pointless. You have to know what you're doing and where you're going and what your end goal is. When you're going and you're partnering with these different small business, advisors or groups or people that give you funding, you want to make sure that you have your plan in place and things in order. Number one, get your business plan. Number two, get your credit at a certain level where you can go to them and it shows that you have good credibility. Also connect with different people, because for me, what I don't like about the small business people, and you get loans from them, is they don't really understand the pitfalls of business, the pitfalls of business. Business is up and down, but they still want you to make sure that you pay them their money every month. So you want to make sure that you are strong and have the capability to withstand hard times, because having a business is not easy. Getting a loan is not easy. Paying back the loan is not easy. Okay. So you want to make sure that you're able to withhold the things that you're asking for. And that comes with your stance as a woman and an entrepreneur.
Wonderful, wonderful. So when we think about passive income, and which I'm sure everybody is familiar with, different streams of income, in order to be rich, what do they say? You have to have at least seven streams of income, right? So Chicks and Wings, tell us about that.
Chicks and wings, chicks and wings. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Shout out to Chicks and Wings. We in the building. So I am co-partner with my beautiful cousin. Stand up, cousin. She is my partner, Cynthia Mighty. That is my co-partner with Chicks and So Chicks and Wings was created after COVID. I was closed for 4 months, and I was like, my cousin always been by my side, always worked here at the Dynasty. And she was tired of working for Sally Mae. She was tired. She like, cuz this is not bringing enough income. I said, listen, what can we do together? Because we stronger together than separate. So she like, it was like brainstorming. Us just kind of driving around one day. I said, listen, I cannot afford to close. If we go back into quarantine, I have to supplement that income. And we knew that healthcare and food, although restaurants were closed, they still were able to do like takeout deliveries. I said, all right, so we our next venture is healthcare, but this venture, let's tap into the food. So I can be honest with y'all. Y'all gotta watch what you speak, because literally, cousin, can you attest? Literally, as soon as we spoke it, we still don't got a business plan. As soon as we spoke it and said, okay, we have an outline of the vision for the plan, but yes, yes, power in the tongue, and God just aligned it. So I wanted to tap into food to supplement the slow season, and not even a slow season, just to have another resource of income for me and my cousin.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. So options, right? I think everyone, not I think, we all lived through COVID. And if nothing else, what my biggest takeaway was you sure can depend on yourself. They sent you home with your laptop and it gave you a newfound resilience to say, I actually can do more than what I think I can. I think we so accustomed to having to work for a job that you really can't see yourself or your life without having to show up to that job until life changes and how we show up for that job starts to change. Even for me at the time, I switched my careers or I went to a different bank because COVID said to this to me. Sometimes I think we sit in positions as Black women, we're loyal to a fault. And I'm like, I should be making more money. I know I could be making more money, but you just keep going back. Well, because we were home for COVID, I have time to just browse on the internet, started looking for jobs, started applying. I said, you know what? I'm not going to stop until I find me a new job making X amount of money.
Yes.
So when I got the offer letter at my new employer, y'all, I had to pull over. My heart was beating so fast. I said, is that my name on there? I had to scroll again, make sure they got the right one because I don't think this is me. Because I took a chance on myself. If not, I would have, and I didn't get fired. It wasn't nothing bad going on in my job. It's just something said, move.
Wow.
I don't know what something just said move, and because of the environment, right? Now, because I'm still in banking, but I'm no longer in that call center environment where I'm on call after call after call, God starts to say, now I want you to do this. Now I want you to do that. Because now I've given you time back in your day for you to be an asset to your community and go out there and pay it forward. So things, they start to align. Visions, they start to align and come
But
together.
don't we need more of this, y'all? Like, don't we need a community where we can talk and discuss and research? I don't know what's out there. A lot of times I have to ask people. It's not just given at your hand and feet. It's not.
Yeah, no, for sure. And that's why we created this nonprofit for us as Black women. So you can have a central hub and a resource, a place you can go. Look, I need real estate, we can refer you. I need education, Kendra can refer you, right? I need, career, Samantha can refer you. I need my hair done, Makeba can take care of you. If I need some chicks and wings, her and her cousin get you together, right? It's all about community. And even looking out here, I know that there are other entrepreneurs. I know that there are other talents. We are all resources in here, right? Let's all take our $10,000 and add it up together. We can go buy us a building right now. We don't got to go look for investors. We sitting right here with each other. But we have to create these platforms so that we can be comfortable of having conversations, really sharing the resources, and building that rapport to say, all right, I want to go into business with you.
Because it's needed.
It's needed.
It's so necessary. And as you were speaking, shout out to our sponsors today, Cleaning with Love, Mary Green. She sponsored to help towards the events today. Shout out to our other sponsor, Star Studded, Sheena Potter. She helped towards the event today. So as a community, if we come together and we collaborate, all things are possible.
All things are possible.
Yes.
So make sure you support these women, support these businesses, share information, share resources, because that's what it's all about. But what I'm going to do now is introduce Ms. Troy Farmer into the conversation. She is representative of the Small Business Development Center. And what she's going to do now is help take some of the things that we've talked about and start to bring that into, now these are the resources that you can use to leverage what you want your next steps to be. Like I said, whether you're a current entrepreneur thinking about being one, or if you just want to clean up how you do business on your job, right? So that you can be taken more professional in order to grow and advance in a company. We don't realize that. Was it you, Nikki, that told me to dress for the role you want, not for the one role you in?
And she's also a client of the Dynasty. Stop playing with me. Dynasty in the building.
Come on in, Miss Troy Farmer. So welcome. Thank you for joining the conversation. You're going to help us bring it on home today. So for the people that don't know you, Because they should know you. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I thought that would be easier than you having to look at my bio too. So,
See, you picking up what I'm putting down.
yeah, I am. Hello, everyone. Thank you so very much for being here. I'm super ecstatic to be here because I am in the grace of these beautiful, fierce, fabulous, and fine women right here. And that's just not their outward image, that is their inward image as well. So, and to Makeba, yes, she is my stylist. Shout out. So thank you so very much because what is it y'all young people say? I don't know. She makes my hair look beat, flawless, whatever it is. I don't know. But you know, when I leave here, I'm like, thank you. And so is my husband. Thank you. So thank you so very much. So yeah, Troy Farmer with the Small Business Development Center. I am a program manager. It's hot in her. I'm just going about to peel it off. I'm for real, y'all, too. Totally transparent. So with the Small Business Development Center, program manager for the Community Navigator program, which is a statewide program supporting and providing resources to underrepresented businesses with a focus on Black and Brown businesses. And I'll have Makeba talk about more about how she has been a recipient of some of those support, some of that support and resources. In addition to that, recently, as I'm moving on from them, I was the director of the Garage Makerspace for Entrepreneur and Innovation down at DSU. I'm also an adjunct for the National Science Foundation, where I teach everything from medical practitioners to innovators, researchers, graduate students, PhDs, how to do customer discovery. And that's something that I will talk a little bit more about too in this framework, because if any of you are looking at designing an app, or you know, looking at if any of you are in the science background and STEM, and you're looking to do product development, that's something that I also support. In addition to that, I am also a site director for the In Delaware Fellowship Program through University of Delaware Horn Program. I just finished a cohort in Boston, Massachusetts, around clean energy procurement for Black and Brown businesses seeking to gain contracts with Boston, Massachusetts, to be able to excel around solar energy, electrical vehicles, those types of things. Let's see, the list could go on and on and on. I don't feel like I need to give you my resume, but just as credentialing, you know, to let you know that who I am, I'm for real. I'm passionate about what I do. I'm a certified master coach, professional coach, laser coach, and I do group coaching as well. But I think more importantly, from a side of all of those things, I'm a woman, and I'm a woman of color. And I identify as African American and Native American. I don't leave my heritages behind, and I don't leave exclusions behind either. To do that means that I would leave my mom behind, right? And I'm not going to do that, and I don't want to leave my dad behind. Plus, when I open up my mouth, people understand who I am and where I come from. So that's all they need to know. Let's see. What else? What do you want to know?
Well, thank you. Thank you. I don't know how she has enough time in a day.
Yes. Oh, and we too own a food truck, Farmer's Famous Fish. We own a food truck. We're in product development phase right now, getting our spices and sauces into retail. And my son, I want to give a shout out to him, Daniel.
Hey,
Daniel
son.
Farmer. He's into photography. He's also a drone pilot as well. So the apple does not fall far from the tree. Yes. So here we go.
Connect, get this information, get these resources. I want to start off when we started our conversation and planning. One of the things that you said to me that stuck out is there are resources available, because I think sometimes I said something to the effect of not having enough resources, and Troy was like, hold on, there are resources. How can you talk about us now knowing what those resources are, and how we, especially as Black women, can take full advantage of the resources in real time?
Okay. before I tell you what the resources are, you have to be open to resources. And I think that's part of, part of our culture. Mythology is a huge thing for us is trust as well. And where we want to do business and where we want to take our businesses. I always have, I've been involved with multiple organizations. Samira, she's also an SBDC advisor here. She's an entrepreneur. She's fine, fierce, and fabulous too. She is awesome. And this is a conversation that we constantly have is we have to, as a population, as a culture, we have to do better for ourselves. And what do I mean by that? When we talk about access, that access begins with a mindset, right? Because we will listen to people who, and this is not to take away from them, but we will listen to people about getting our finances together, but they have no professional experience to do it. And they're in the same place that you are, right? So at some point, though, we have to be able to open up our minds and say, it's okay. Because I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say this with transparency and honesty. Our counterparts do it very well. And they take advantage of everything. Right? But we won't do that because it's not in our neighborhood. It's not, you know what? I don't trust them. They're not my friend. Well, you know what? I don't care because money is green. I'm going to just be point blank. And guess what? You heard Makeba say that there is always divine intervention. When you are connected, you have to believe that the right people will be put in the right place at the right time. So that's the first thing I want to say about access. The next thing I want to say about access is understanding where you are in the stage of what you need, right? A lot of people want a lot of things. They jump out. They're like, okay, I'm going to get a website. I'm going to do all of these things. And I'm going to jump on Makeba now. She said, we don't have a business plan for the food truck. Y'all going to get a business plan. Okay.
Yes.
So
We're going to help.
Yeah. So part of that is taking a step back and recognizing if you are in a place of here, then you have to be okay with beginning here. And you have to be open to being here. Because here, you heard her say, it's painful. It's not always easy. But if you're willing to take the journey, then guess what? Here now escalates and grows to here. But it becomes easier because your mindset has shifted. So when you talk about access, there are a lot of resources. Small Business Development Center is an organization that will support you from the cradle to the grave. What does that mean? That means a point of inception to implementation and beyond. So if you are looking as a visionary to start your business, that's something that we do at the Small Business Development Center. If you are looking, you started your business, but you're still in the startup phase, which is around 1 to 3 years, give or take. Some people have been in a startup phase in 17 years. They're still there because they have not done the things you heard Makeba talk about, right? Operationally, to make them be a sound business owner. In addition to that, also, if you are looking to scale your business, let's say you're in business right now and you're feeling the pains of wanting to go beyond where you are, right? And you're feeling like, you know what, I'm ready for the next stage. Well, in order to get to that next stage, you have to be operationally sound. That means you have to know your numbers, understand what your finances are, understand what your sheets are, your balance sheets, your profit and loss, all of those statements, right? We support in doing that as well. From scale up to succession planning, you want to hire people. You want to create an exit strategy, right? A lot of times we get into business thinking it's about survival. No, getting into business is about creating a succession plan with an exit strategy.
That's right. That's right.
You may never sell that business, but it should always be in a position to be able to sell it because you are not in business just for the purpose of saying, well, this is my side hustle. This gives me a little bit of money. I talked to Nisha the other day, and I'm like, you know what? This is, if you are heartfelt about this, and I'm not taking anything away from those people that have a side hustle, that's fine. But if you are serious about business and you want to see the growth, because a lot of people, they have in their mind, I want to leave. I want to leave my position that I'm in. You know, I'm not making enough money. I've been there too. Um, Trust me, I know what that feels like. But you can't do that until you have a plan and a strategy.
That's right.
And tapping in um, to the areas of need, like your finances. I'm going to keep repeating this, like your finances, your operational management, right? Your administrative, understanding what your expenses are, your revenue streams are, understanding what it is to onboard. Is it worth it to hire someone or to have someone as a 1099, right? Understanding what the labor laws are. Those are things that we can assist you with at the SBDC or direct you to appropriate resources. Also, I would say we have a QR code for events. Go on the calendar, tap into the events that are occurring, because guess what? Most of them are free.
Yes, they are.
They are free. Now, that doesn't mean they don't have any value. There, you mentioned True Access Capital. So if you're struggling with your credit, you know, it's important for you to get your credit together. This is an institution that supports individuals who are struggling in their credit, right? You know, you and I, and I'm just going to be honest, you know, we don't just walk into a bank and get a loan,
No, we don't.
right?
And I work
Because
at
your
one.
stuff's got to be tight and right. And I'm for real about that. Okay. I mean, like squeezing like,
Tight and right.
you know, beats out of it, tight and right. But in order to do that, you have to also do the unveiling and the truth, right? If your stuff is a hot mess, you got receipts everywhere, and you don't know what's going on, it's time to get help. That's a resource that you could tap into. And I know a lot of people subscribe to Google and they'll go online and watch YouTube, right? You need to go and sit down in front of somebody so you can have that accountability. So they can call you out on your stuff. Somebody like Samira, you need to go to sit down and go see Samira. Samira, you about to get real busy, boo. So she could say, you didn't do this. And I've been working with you for a couple of weeks now. So I might just leave you right here until you're ready. Well, you know what? I don't think I want to work with Samira. Resource. How you tap into it and how you create access for yourself. Because what you can, a lot of us do is put blinders on. Other resources, Women's Business Center, the SBA, the Community Navigator program is funded by the Small Business Administration. And they are a fervent partner of ours. As a matter of fact, they are the partner of the Women's Business Center, as well as True Access Capital. So there's a lot of resources that are intertwined, but it's just understanding where you go to get access. SBA they're like the bankers in the room, right? The SBDC provides technical assistance. We provide technology, you name it, operations management in terms of getting you to the point of advising. We do not provide the professional service because we don't want to create any risk. So as an example, we can help you set up your numbers, your finances, but we're not going to give you accounting services. We're not going to give you bookkeeping services because you really need to be going to pay for them. And you're like, well, I can't afford them. Well, you have to get to the place where you might have to bootstrap, where you can afford somebody that's a professional that knows more than you.
Thank you. Thank you. And the next question I want you both to answer, because when we talk about resources, to me, that also goes into mentorship, right? Because you need people to be able to help you, accountability partners. So for Makeba, how have mentors been so impactful in your role and your growth to get to where you're at now?
I think that mentors introduce you to new doors. Sometimes you don't know the resources, like you stated. You don't even know what's out there. Recently, I worked with the United Way. That's a mentorship program. Y'all can look that up. It's United Way. we did get some incentives because I know that oftentimes we're so worried about the money and the resources, but if we don't know what to do with the resources, what's the point of having them? Right? We want to get a grant, but we don't even know what our vision is.
Right.
So, my mentor, he kind of opened up my mind to new ways to navigate my business and things, the ideas that I had. He kind of opened up my mind to how I could do things. Like my next business venture, I want to create a leadership mentor program. Call it Little Makebas, Little Leaders, right? I really didn't know. I knew I had a vision, but I didn't know in which way I should do things. So mentorship or mentors are always guidance to get us to the next level.
And Troy, for even for you, how has mentor, because you have a lot of accolades, your resume is impeccable, but you didn't start off that way.
Yeah.
So how have mentors helped you grow and get to where you're at current in your level of success?
There's always been a person, and not always a woman. There's always been a person that I connected with, that I sought out, or that possibly sought me out. And I had to have the mentality that our iron sharpens iron. You know, people will tell me, "Oh, you're intimidating. You have this going on. You have that going on." And I'm like, well, first off, let's just sit and have a conversation, because my value and your value have equity in them, and there's no comparison. And I think that once you understand that you have just as much to bring to the table as the other person, and vice versa, right? And they may fill a gap for you, that's what's important. So I've had mentorship, and I was a mentor for a United Way program many moons ago. But what Makeba is also speaking about is that United Way has a coaching program. So in the SBDC Community Navigator program, we have what's called the consortium. And in that consortium, we have what's called the spokes. The spokes are the organizations. So those spokes are Independent Resources, Inc. So if you know of anyone who is aspiring to own and operate a business, and a person with a disability, that's a resource for them. In addition to that, United Way also has a program, but you have to be at a certain level to be able to apply and be accepted into that program. Black Chamber of Commerce is another resource to tap into. They have something called the Enrich program, so around Enterprise. So they also have an application process. But this is an organization, regardless of what you do, you can network and get connected with them. In addition, we have our HBCU, Delaware State University. They are also another, I'm a alma mater as well, I'm a Hornet as well. They're another resource that you can tap into. The Garage Makerspace is there around innovation, as well as they have Innovation Cafe, which is around food sciences. So any foodies in here. So if you're looking to create an ingredient of something, they have a food science program that can support you. She's cousin's looking at me. She's like, "Oh, I didn't know that." Yeah. So in another spoke in our wheel, who's another spoke in our wheel? United Way of Delaware is also another resource. Wilmington Alliance and Leslie Training Center, they're affiliates of ours. So they also provide training. So tap into Wilmington Alliance. They always have a lot of free workshops going on. And no, not yeah, but they are. That's another resource. I was going to mention to you the State of Delaware Office of Supplier Diversity. So they listen to me. You don't have to worry about, or rather, let me back up from that. A lot of times we pigeonhole ourselves to say, well, why would I be successful with the Office of Supplier Diversity? That's because the State of Delaware hires everything except for, let me get that right. Michelle Moran used to tell me, everything except for pole dancing and cannabis. You cannot do procurement or be on the list for a procurement. So that's another opportunity to get certified through the State of Delaware. We also have other resources like University of Delaware, Newcastle County Chamber of Commerce, in addition to Newcastle County You may want to get on the list of procurement for Newcastle County and see what opportunities of service are available. A lot of times they may need facilitators or facilities management. They might need cleaning. They might need landscaping. They might need food. All of the things. So think of this. There are other organizations that operate like small cities, and they need support. So you want to get on their supplier diversity list, but you have to make sure that you have the credentialing. And it's not, yes, a process, but once you start the process for one, now you're equipped to do the others.
Nice. And what I'm
sorry, I know you asked about mentorship.
Oh, yes,
I
yes.
just wanted to.
But
the
that
last
that,
thing-
that that was very valuable what you said.
Good, thanks. And the other thing is, I want to tell you the difference between mentorship, sponsorship, and having an ambassador. All right. So you want to have all three of those. An ambassador is someone who will speak on your behalf, right? That's that person that is speaking your value to other people. All right. A sponsor is, you heard Nisha's manager say you have more potential. But if Nisha's manager had said, Nisha, I want you to come over and I want you to meet this executive VP, right? And she's spoken that value, but now she's also putting you in front of someone. That's right. That's a sponsor. Okay. That's a sponsor. A mentor is someone who is looking to talk with you and give you insight on their journey, right? And just tell you the difference. A coach, right, is someone who will take the journey with you in the future. I'm also, I have my master's in clinical social work. So I used to do clinical counseling as well. That is someone who helps to deal with your past and your pain. All right. So when you're dealing with someone in counseling, they're dealing with your pain and your past. A coach is dealing with your future, your inspiration, and your aspirations. So that's the difference.
Yes, and you're right, because what Nikki did was she got me connected with another woman at the time in the bank, Yolanda Williams, and I started to work with her to mentor her, or so that I can get that mentorship. So she saw something in me, right, and said, well, I'm going to align you with this person in order for you to. Sometimes the message don't necessarily resonate with that person, right? Maybe if somebody else said a little bit differently, right, but both messages still resonate.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
To God be the glory.
And you need to have these lists, right? So an A, B, C list. Listen, y'all need to be writing stuff
Well,
down.
this is
Y'all
what
got a pen?
Well, this is what I'm gonna say. We're gonna pay it forward, right?
Yes.
I'm gonna work with Troy, and we are going to get all of the things that she listed and put them together. Only thing you have to do is make sure that you sign that paper on the front to register for our website. So that means we'll put it online and we have a distribution list. We will email it to you. So now at that point,
She good. You know what? She good because I'm old school. I'm like, get your pens out, get your notebooks out. You know why? Because it's different somebody providing it for you. And I'm
and
not
then
saying that
you're right.
shouldn't.
You're right.
It's different somebody providing it for you than you taking ownership, right? And then you processing. There's power in the pen when you put pen to paper for yourself, right? Because think about it. When somebody provides you notes, what happens? That's their interpretation. It's not your interpretation.
That's right.
But that's validation. Like she's giving you validation.
I'm gonna give you the list. It's up
She's
to you
giving
what you do with it.
validation, right? But you need to have your own interpretation.
Thank you. Thank you. So we're gonna pay it forward. I'm gonna give that gift to y'all. So when we talk about marketing, branding, and strategy, for one, I want to say you before you start your business, you are your brand, right? If you are late, if you are not professional, if you're disheveled, one of the things Troy said when we met is you are very organized, your notes are very good. And Makeba tells me that all the time too. That is one of my strong suits, is to be organized. But people don't realize when you're establishing a business or asking people for money, if your stuff is not together, people are not going to work with you. And we just have to have this honest moment. Let's rip the bandage off. We as Black people have a reputation for not being able to conduct business properly. And I knew that I was not going to subscribe to that narrative, right? I need for things to be done correctly. I need to be efficient, right? I know my team has sometimes say she sent too many emails. I'm trying to get better, y'all. But it's important that we overly communicate. I'd rather give you too much information than not to give you enough, right? So you can't say I haven't provided you the tools in order for you to be successful. So we need to take that very, very serious. Is you are your brand. Dress for the role you want, not for the role you in. Your hair, how you present yourself, your clothes, how you show up. It matters. People pay attention to you even when you think that they don't. So just be very intentional and mindful. And even as I grow and elevate, I also sit on the board at the Police Athletic League in Wilmington, which means that now that's a different level of responsibility, right? So even for me, I had to become more aware of my image and my brand and my responsibility of how people see me in the community. How can you have a professional networking group talking about sisterhood and you got a nasty attitude? Pin drop. Right? How can you ask people, I'm gonna need you to sponsor me, I need some money, but your stuff is not together? I had an idea, but they still waiting for the email, I didn't receive it yet. Y'all, we don't realize there's a lot of things that we contribute to our successes and failures, and they truly do start with us. So before you can even get to the resources, you got to make sure that your personal brand is where it needs to be. So as we go into that, talk about, for both of you, for branding, for messaging, what is the importance of having a professional brand, but then also how that translates to your business brand?
Oh, can I go first? Then I'm gonna hand it to you. So, and I'm gonna use Makeba because Makeba knows how I am, right?
Correct.
So, so little backdrop, because for me, coming to a stylist is not just about me coming to a stylist. So my mother was the president of the board of cosmetology for the state of Delaware. So I've been around hair all my life, platform styling, international hair shows. I was a model for hair shows, you name it, right? And my mother was also an instructor. So she taught cosmetology, anatomy, physiology, right? She did all those things. And she was tight and right. She was about 5. Well, she thought she was 5'6", but she was only 5'2". Maybe she was 5'6", right? Little woman with a big presence. Used to do the hair and makeup for the Miss America pageants. Yeah, and she had that wow factor too. But this is the thing: she walked with grace. I think the wonderful compliment that anybody can give you is that you are beautiful and you don't know it. You are beautiful. And you don't know it.
You are beautiful. You don't know it. You are beautiful.
Turn to your sister. Tap your sister.
You don't know it. That's right, y'all. That's right, y'all. Let's clap it up for each other.
When my mother got that compliment, right, that spoke volumes to me. That meant that people recognized who she was, but she was so humble, right, that she didn't wear it on her sleeve of who she was. Years later, I got the same compliment and I knew what that meant. When I walked into this salon, I felt that. She was on time. My appointment was such and such a time. She greeted me. She said, "Hi, Mrs. Farmer." She didn't call me by my first name because you don't know me like that, right? I had some people, for real, they provide me a service, and because they think I'm paying them, they have the right to call me by my first name. No, you don't. You don't know me like that, right? She said, "Hi, Miss Farmer," and when she came to know me, she says, right? Or she'll say, "Miss Troy," right? Y'all think I'm crazy. I am. She was on time. She provided my service. I didn't have to wait like multiple hours, because I'm gonna tell you, she could tell you I'm a diva. Am I a diva?
Yes, you are.
Right.
A beautiful one.
Yeah, but I like what I like, and I like what I like,
And you know how you like it.
and I know how I like it.
And you don't mind spending.
And that's the other thing. She gave me her price. This is super important. She gave me her price. I didn't squinch. You know what? I didn't haggle about her price. She's a business owner. I respected that, right? She's providing me a service. As long as she could do her due and make my hair beat, I didn't care. I'm going to pay the price that she was asking for. I want y'all to think about that. How many times somebody has tried to haggle with you on your price? And if you lowered it, what you did to your value, Because now your brand, you just devalued it.
That's good.
You just devalued it. So in doing that, I think understanding and respecting also. So it's not just yourself and the brand. I didn't mention this because it is not in my bio, but I was just awarded. What is it? I don't know. What was I just awarded? Delaware Business Times. One of Delaware's top
Tell them top women in Delaware.
top women in business. Thank you. Thank you.
Right here in the flesh.
And people were like, when I was walking up, right, people were like, it's about time. I can't believe it. They already saw something in my brand, right? And they were like, it shouldn't have been taking this long. It shouldn't have taken this long, right? However, it was in the season that it was supposed to happen.
God's timing.
That's what I always say. But that was because of the brand. You can ask Samara, you can ask my son, when I walk into the room, if you don't know me, you will know me.
Amen.
Right? If you don't know me, you will know me. Right? But this is the thing. I have to always feel like I have to work to gain that respect because I'm not entitled to it. Just because I walk in the door doesn't mean that you give it to me.
Mhm.
We have to humble ourselves. I heard you say, you know what? I had to get humble,
Mhm.
right? Sometimes you got to check yourself at the door. And are there things that you have to check yourself at the door on in terms of who you are? Because that's also part of your brand, right? And if you can stay empathetic, I think that's the key word. And that means putting yourself in somebody else's shoes. When you can do that, then guess what? There's a world that will open up for you, and your brand will be exponential from the people, your team that works with you, right? They may not like everything. She just said it today. She was like, oh, and I report. She introduced me. And I was like, Samara said, well, I report to you. And I was like, yeah, but you're a partner of mine. She was like, you're my manager. I was like, yeah, I guess I am, right? But that's the relationship that I have. Right. Not that doesn't warrant respect. And I know it's a lot wrapped up in there, but I want you to think about who you are and where you are right now and how you carry yourself, right? What you're exposed to, what you're exposing your brand to, right? Because that's how people will see you. If you're on social media, if you're cussing, if you have a sailor's mouth, right? I don't watch rated R movies. I don't listen. If you do, I don't. PG-13 is kind of right because now PG-13 is actually rated R, right? If I'm going to be who I say I am and I'm professing the word of the Lord, right, and subscribing to him, then I got to be who I say I am. I can't be double-minded with a double-minded grind. Let my yay be yay and my nay be nay. And that's where any of you have to make a decision. And if there are people around you like that, then guess what? The other thing I wanted to look, I'm gonna ask a question, not now, but I wanted Makeba to talk about what she had to let go. Brand.
Yeah,
first.
what you had to let go.
But talk about the brand first.
Okay. First, I want to say that the first chapter in the Milady's book of cosmetology, it speaks about your self-image. So your self-image is how you show up, how you look, how you smell, how your teeth look is important because clients recognize a lot about ourselves before we even speak. And although they may not show it or may not act like it, they're watching everything. For me, my identity is a part of my brand. I try to do everything in excellence. I try to really display myself as an individual. And I think that my character speaks volumes through my brand and excellence in everything that I do. When you come into Dynasty, you feel welcome. Whether you want to feel welcomed or not, we're going to make you feel welcome. My team is going to make you feel welcomed. My goal is, even when I'm not here, you still feel the residue of Makeba because I set the tone. And that's how Dynasty was created. Everyone that works here is a leader. They exemplify leadership, right? And that's a part of my brand. professionalism, being prompt, looking good, smelling good, staying humble, making sure that the customer is valued and appreciated. Whether they come back or not, that's on them. We showed up as we were supposed to. We did what we were supposed to do. Yeah, so I feel like your self-image is very, very imperative and important about your brand. Be who you want to represent. Your brand speaks before you even do. They see Makeba Griffin, they see Dynasty.
That is the truth. And this, anytime I've come into this establishment, whether you've been here, because there has been times I've had to drop things off, there is a consistent tone in this building, right? And that is a testament of what she brings, because it's like the domino effect. You drop one, boom, they fall. So she has set the tone of her team of, even when Makeba's not here, it should still feel like I'm here. And you feel that today in the atmosphere, right? So audience, let's open it up to y'all. I know y'all got some questions. Oh, wait.
What she had to let go.
Oh, what did you have to let go? And then we're going to open it up to y'all.
Right? There are some things that you, when you were taking this journey,
Thank
that
you.
was that.
Sheena said I need water.
Right.
See your team keeping you
And
together.
being strong, committed, staying the course. But what did you need to let go of as well?
I had to let go of some people, places, and things. In order for your business to get in order, you gotta get you right. You gotta really know, you gotta really know what it is you want to do. When you are handling business, your mind has to be right. Your spirit has to be right. You have to be physically, spiritually, emotionally prepared to deal with whatever comes your way. Y'all, I walk in here a lot of days. I always tell my staff, leave what you got going on outside. Nobody should never know what you got going on. They didn't come here for that. They came here for an experience, not only a service, but an experience. And a lot of times, my clients, I'm their therapist. I gotta let go of hello. I gotta let go of what I got going on to serve. That's the main point I wanted to say today. The hospitality part of business. We're serving. I know my purpose in life is to serve. Whatever position I am, even when I worked at McDonald's, my first job, I loved it. I would go back there if Lord said I gotta go back. I am serving. Serving is very, very important in business. It's not about you, it's about the customer. So you want to get your foundation strong and in order so that you can take care of business. Taking care of business is not just handling paperwork, y'all. You gotta get your mind right, your body right, your spirit right to be prepared to whatever people calling me. My team is pulling me. My son's school is calling me. I have to stay in position and stay firm and steadfast in what I'm doing and knowing that everything is going to be okay. No matter which way I'm being pulled, no matter what hell is going on, whether it's business or personal, I'm going to be okay. Don't get caught up in the business that you lose yourself. You got to take care of you first. If you are not ready to take care of you, don't even get into business. You got to deal with the ugly part. How good are you with your finances? How good are you with delegating? Making jobs for other people to do. When you're starting a business, it feels like you're getting pulled every way. Okay, I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to do that. I got to do this. No, you have to learn how to delegate. You cannot be everything for everyone. You have to have the mindset of a business owner. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm similar.
Yes, I like
Can I
that.
just give you another quick tip?
Yes.
Another quick tip. This is part of your homework. It's easy building your brand. You can also use this for your business or when you're starting a business. I want you to do a SWOT analysis, right?
SWOT.
Has anybody ever heard of a SWOT analysis? Okay. So, but I want you to do something different. I want you to SWOT yourself. Okay. I want you to identify what your strengths are. Okay. And then how those strengths can lead to opportunities. And then I want you to also identify what weaknesses or challenges you may have, and then what threats that could lead to, meaning risk, because you want to be a risk mitigator. You want to mitigate risks, right? You want to make sure that you position yourself. Whereas if there is a situation, you have now created, right, a scenario in your head to be able to support a response, not a reaction. So doing a SWOT analysis, and even if you're in partnership with someone, have them do a SWOT, and you also do a SWOT. Why do I say that? Because you can identify what their strengths are, and maybe they can fill a gap, because you might learn they're a night person and you're a day person, but you get into this thinking, okay, we're going to open up this joint from 9 to 5, and you're going to be ready to go. And now they come dragging in at 12 o'clock because they're a night person, but you didn't take the time to learn that. You might have known them personally, but you didn't know what their what their behaviors were when it came to business. So just a small exercise, very easy, SWOT analysis, SWOT. When you do the S, when you do the S and the W, that's internal. Okay. When you do the O and T, that's external. So a SWOT, strengths, opportunities, are within. You're identifying what's within. That's why it's internal. Okay. When you do the opportunities and the threats, that's external. That means, you know what? How can I connect myself? If I'm a great communicator, that means I'm a great networker. That's a strength, right? Credentials. A lot of times, I have all these letters after my name, excuse me. I have all these letters after my name, and people, for me, he gets to say, he's the biggest. God is the biggest letters for me, right? But sometimes I have to throw them out there. Y'all know what I mean when I'm in certain environments, right?
Folks, remind them.
Right? Okay. That's my credentialing. Never be afraid to express or provide your value and your credentials. A lot of times people don't know. Listen, she walking around with a master's, bachelor's and a master's. Okay.
Yes, Nisha.
I'm talking about you.
I need to put that behind my name.
Yes, you do.
I don't even put.
Yes, people are like, well, I don't want to. Why not? Because if people don't know, they don't understand what you're coming with. You coming with the Mack truck, not the buggy.
Come on.
Okay.
Coming with the Mack truck,
So,
yo.
SWOT analysis. See, y'all can have me here all day long. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I just wanted to say one thing. I just wanted to say one thing. When you are an entrepreneur and you have staff, knowing how to treat each person, you can't treat everybody the same. You have to know how to speak to people, because you have to meet people where they are. So yes, I just want to know, knowing who you're working with, knowing how to speak with them. Of course, you're going to speak with everybody with integrity and respect. But I'm dodging in a little bit deeper than that. Knowing really how to meet them and push them, and seeing what they have inside of them and how to push that them.
Yes.
She brings up a great point. Yes. Makeba does. She brings a great point. You have to meet people where they are. That's what we do in clinical counseling, right? Meet them where they are. It's the same thing. You heard her. She's also a therapist. She's not just an employer. She's for real, right? Because people will come, your employees come, oh, Makeba, this, he ain't doing me right. This, that, and the other, right? Okay. Doors open, right? Your veil comes, right? But guess what? She's carrying a lot. Yeah. Now, how your standards, your policies and procedures, if you don't have them, you need to get them developed, right? That's how you provide equity, right, in your establishment, your organization, your business, through your policies and procedures. But very important, that's when they talk about treating people equally, that's what they're talking about. When you're talking about human capital and their performance, you're meeting them where they are. Okay, that's the difference in that.
That's right. Do your SWOT analysis. We do them Every time we do an event, anytime we do a fundraiser, I do send my team a Google Doc and we talk about what are our strengths, what are our weaknesses, what are our opportunities and threats. For business, that's important. Personally, that's important. We can't improve if we're not having real conversations on what we need to get better at, right? Recognizing what we're doing well. So you, even as business owners, aspiring future, wherever you're at, know these words, use them, because if you have a business plan or if you're going to get funding, a SWOT analysis is a part of a business plan, right? So if you have the tools, using them correctly, then you'll know these languages as they continue to carry over. But anybody have any? Yeah. And then Troy,
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay. SWOT analysis and a gap analysis.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So make sure you also do a gap analysis. Gap analysis is going to help you identify where you are right now, right? And then where you want to go. All right. It's very simple, very simple. You can go on Google and just pull up a document for a gap analysis, GAP, gap analysis. But there's one thing that's not on the gap analysis, and that is barriers. You have to be able to start to identify what some of your barriers are, right? And when you're truthful about them, if it's time management and you know you're not greatly organized around time or organization yourself, that's going to become a barrier in your business. That means you're going to lose opportunity. That's right. It's going to show up in something.
Everything that you do, personally, transitions to professionally, they go hand in hand. There's certain things you
Absolutely.
can, certain things you can't. If you ain't on time, you just ain't on time.
That's right.
If you're not organized, you're just not organized.
That's right. Now, but can you fix it? Yes, you can. But the first thing that's going to have to shift is your mindset, right? You're going to want to have to do it. It's not going to be overnight, because guess what? It didn't take you overnight to get there. But it has to be a work in progress. So SWOT analysis and a gap analysis. You do these two activities. Now, guess what you are doing? This is the beginning of your competitive analysis when you start doing and looking at other businesses.
And we're going to
Right?
put it on the website too.
So now you're starting to do market analysis, right? So now when you do a SWOT, you can now SWOT your business, what your strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities are for your business. And then you can also do that for other businesses. And then you can do a competitive analysis and looking at what the gaps are in your business and the gaps are in somebody else's business. Is this an opportunity for you to partner with them because they have a gap that you can provide? Okay. And then doing a competitive analysis, you want to look at national, regional, and local businesses that are just like yours and start to compare them. You can go on the website, look in easy research. People are like, well, where do I get this research from? Okay, it's right there. It's right there in front of you. A lot of them are publicly, some of them might be, especially if it's a national business, they're probably publicly traded. So you'll get their numbers. If you go on their website, you'll get their P&L statement. So that's powerful. That's powerful information that you have. And then if that's where you aspire to go, now, guess what? You have a sight point as well. I'm a stop.
What questions do y'all have? Any questions? Somebody? Anybody? Kendra.
I do business coaching. Yes, I do.
Yes, Nisha. Welcome to the Nisha Show.
Welcome. Got my little Vanna Black on the building. Vanna Black. Does anybody have a question? Yeah, you got your mic.
Yes, I do. I do. So I don't do life coaching. I do business strategy coaching. But what's encompassed is that is what I call your systems. And a process that I do is start to assess and evaluate what your systems are around you building your business. And those systems could be your family, right? Your work, your recreational, and how they affect you building a business. So that is connected to your life.
Is there a certain template, or where do we find how to create a business plan?
Okay. So I almost feel like I want Samara to answer this question. You know what? Yes, y'all can go create a business plan, and I'm gonna let Samara chime in on that. You could go create a business plan, but guess what? Don't do it yourself. Don't do it by yourself. And let me give you 2 tips. How many service-based businesses are in here? Like you do consulting or not services. Well, you may provide a service-based, and you don't have a brick and mortar. Okay. You don't have a brick and mortar. Okay. Now, though, for those of you that have a brick and mortar, are there any? Okay. You have a brick and mortar. All right. So if you are looking for funding and a loan, you need to do a business plan, right? That's with an executive summary, all of that. SBDC can help you with that, right? So I'm going to let Samara talk more about that. I'm not going to hang there. If you are a service-based business, right, and you're starting out, you're starting out, and a business plan may be cumbersome for you right now, right? You may not have all of the information that you need. So you're going to start with a lean canvas model. Okay. You're going to start with that. That's a 1-pager. And that's going to allow you to really look at, the right side is about the product. Yes, right side is about the product. Left side is about the market. I think I got that right. Okay. So value proposition, customer segment, how you differentiate yourself, all of those things, okay, are going to be on the right side. And you're just going to brain dump. It's a 1-pager. All right. And then you're going to do what we call iteration. You're going to go through the iteration process of looking at, okay, how does this make sense and how does this tie? Because the value that you have should connect to the segment, the market that you're providing the service to. Right. And then also it's on the left side, you're going to look at the problem and the solution. Okay. So then you want to see exactly what the problem is. And I kind of stick with 3s, like identifying what 3 problems there are, what 3 solutions there are. And then with the customer segment and the value proposition that's in the middle of that page, they all should be succinct. This is how you have identified the problem. This is how the solution that you're offering. This is the segment that you're giving it to, and this is the value that you're bringing. A lot of times, though, this is a tip. We get caught up in solutions.
When you say we, you talking about Black women?
No, I'm just talking about people in general,
okay.
businesses, right? When you're building a business, oftentimes we get stuck on the solutions that we bring, not the problems that are in the marketplace. Focus on the problems that are in the marketplace. When you can identify what those true problems are, and the only way to do that is what we call customer discovery. Customer discovery is, guess what? Makeba, how's your business going?
Right.
Okay. Are you having any gaps in your business? All right. So talk to me about how you walk through X, Y, and Z process. You're going to listen. Okay. You're not going to offer. You're not going to sell her anything. You're not going to provide a solution to what she's doing. You're just going to do customer discovery. Okay. Not 1 or 2 people, not your friends, not your family. You could do them, but people who are in the marketplace, that in your industry, that are doing business and who you want to be able to serve. And you can do this at any level. Samara?
I just want to add that you can, when Troy talked about the business model, you can actually Google business model canvas online and see the format and how it's laid out. I would also agree with Troy. I get a lot of aspiring business owners that one of the things that prevents them from really launching is they get hung up on the need for a business plan. I think one of the reasons why I think I have probably some of the most starts among the advisors is because it takes me literally 1 conversation to determine if someone really needs a business plan. People think about a business plan and they're like, they think of this large, elaborate plan with projections, but it really depends on what your goal is. Are you trying to get a loan? Are you trying to get a grant? Are you trying to open up a location? If the answer to those questions is no, you probably don't need a business plan. Another thing I wanted last to add is the business capability statement. As a client, as a consultant, when I'm out there getting new business, I have a 1-pager business capability statement. This is who I am. This is what I do. These are my capabilities. These are my differentiators. These are my accomplishments. These are my all of my licenses and any other awards that I've won. Very simple, straight to the point. Do not get hung up on a business plan. Contact the Small Business Development Center. You can sit down with us. I do a lot of my sessions on Zoom. Well, most of my sessions on Zoom, even though I have an office. Meet with you for an hour. I can determine based off of where you are, where you're trying to go, if a business plan is even needed. It's a very intimidating thing to write a business plan. I have people that they don't even, they come in, they're excited. They feel like they have to have a business plan and they're not even up and running because they're just so hung up on just this document. And realistically, everybody doesn't know how to write. I mean, that's just, it is the demographic that I work with. A lot of people are not great with reading comprehension or writing, and it's fine. We can get you there. I'm very good with clients. So just wanted to add that. No, I'm not going to write it for you. I'm not going to write it for you.
They do a phenomenal
Yeah.
job, and sometimes they do, but I'm just gonna put that out there.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely contact us. But like Troy said, a business plan is not always necessary.
Who uses Chat GPT? You better get that thing to help you write your business plan and stop playing.
Be careful with it.
Chat GPT is only as good as the information that you input into it. And I want you to understand something. As long as you're using Chat GPT, you don't own it. So be very careful, right? AI is a wonderful thing, but be very careful, right? So, and I'm just gonna put something out there. I just asked Nisha this. For those of you that are video recording or what have you, you need to get what's the word I'm saying? What's the word I want to say? No, that's not what I'm saying. No, that's not what I'm saying. Approval from Nisha to post it. Okay. She is going to be sending out a photo release. Okay. And this is something, this is me as a business owner, right? I don't mind your video. I'm just telling you this so you all will have this wherever you go, right? I'm not for people shoving a mic in my face. I get it. That's the culture, and a lot of people subscribe to that, but I'm a very private person. And I want you to think about something. You are women. You are women. You never know who is in a domestic violence situation, right? And people are putting people on social media and stuff, right? You don't know, right? And it can happen to males as well. But I feel like I just need to say this from a sensitive place, right? Because we're being authentic here today, right? We're being transparent here today, right? You heard Makeba say coming into her house and doing business, right? I feel like you coming into my house when you have access to me. I didn't give you permission. Permission, that's the word I was looking for, to put me on social media. All right. So just be mindful of that. Is it a wonderful thing when people are looking for their brand? Fine. Yes. But always get permission. It will go a long way for you. Questions from the audience? Our lovely host, Bree. Licensed real estate agent. Contact Bree for all your real estate needs. Delaware and Maryland.
Good morning, all the beautiful ladies and gentlemen that are here today. I have a question for Miss Troy. I noticed when you said you came to Makeba's shop and the way that you were treated, and when she gave you your price, you didn't squint or anything. You just went with the flow. Now, I started my cleaning business, I want to say between 5 and 6 months ago. And because I really don't know what I'm doing, so I have to take in consideration my supplies and my gas and my travel time. So because I just started, sometime I think I decreased in my price because I want my business to grow and put it out there. So how do I, whatever price I give the customer, that I stick to and don't let them bring me down?
Are we okay with time? Are we okay with time? I just want to, because I want to be mindful of that. Okay. Are we okay? Mm-hmm. Okay, because I'm about to drop some nuggets on you.
Yes.
All right. So listen, thank you so much for that question. I tell people you can get me through an organization or you can get me. When you get me, obviously you get me in a different way, right? Because I'm here today representing an organization, this is how you will get me. You ask, do I do coaching? You get me in another framework. But don't confuse. Don't confuse. And I say this for myself, people like Samira, anybody else who's in a consultancy process of them doing their business, that oftentimes when people think of free, they think of, you know what, let me minimize the value on that. Okay. So for you, I think it's very important for you first, and this is for any of you, to know your numbers. It is so important to understand what it costs you to do business. And a lot of times we don't. A lot of times we just want to start the business because we're so excited, we're so happy, and we put a price on things. I don't understand how you could put a price on. Well, I do, but I'm just being facetious. I don't understand how you can put a price on something when it's not enough for you to survive on. I want you to think about it.
That's good.
Right? Because if you can't survive off of it, then you're not doing business, right? Okay? So you need to understand what your expenses are. If you are doing business full time, you need to map out all of your expenses, right? Do some research. If you don't know and you've never bought something, do some research. Don't assume. Go to 3 different websites, 5 different websites to see what it costs, right? Wholesale and retail. Also, if you are doing this full time, you want to have a separate column. And in that separate column, you want to put down all of your expenses, your livelihood expenses, what your mortgage is, what your rent is, what your car payment is, what your car insurance is, right? I did this. I used to run a program, a division for the YWCA called WAN. And I would provide these classes on pricing. And I'll never forget, this one person said, oh my gosh, I've been bamboozled. Right? Because they now recognize, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can do this. Right? So once you do that, you can combine those. If it's full time, you can combine those expenses because you're going to have to pay yourself. Something we don't do.
Right.
When we have a full-time business, we forget we got to pay ourselves. Right? So and then you got to replace that salary that was paying you. So if you're making $70K, then guess what? You $70K in the red. For real, for real. Now, to some of you, that might feel like, oh no, that's a lot of money. Well, based on $70K, it could be. Your health insurance, you need to include all of that. Okay. Then you need to look at what that monthly expense is, not just an annual expense. Okay. How many weeks generally are you, if you're a service-based business, how many weeks are you generally in operation? It's not 52. So, you want to put vacation in there. You want to put if you're going to be sick. So you might be productive 42 weeks. Productivity. How many hours a day are you actually productive? It's not going to be 8 or 10. Now, in my world, I work from sun up to listen. I've learned that especially because I work from home a lot, right? And I'm blessed to do that I have to have a cutoff point, right? Because me is important. And plus, I got a fine husband, and
Talk
we've been
about it.
together
Talk about
13
it.
years. And my kids are grown.
They got things to do.
Did y'all hear me? Where the mic at? Where the mic at? I'm coming. I'll be 59 in August. So it's time for me to play right now. But I understand I got some things I got to do. Okay. So you also want to put those expenses in there. Your vacation. I go to Aruba every year for 2 weeks, right? I gotta put that in there. Okay. Right. You heard Makeba. Sometimes when you start out, you got to give some things out, right? Like that Gucci wallet, right? Them shoes. Okay. You might have to go to Marshall's, TJ Maxx, which of course are my favorite stores, some of my favorite stores, right? Okay. You might have to do some things. You might have to give up some things, but you want to put all those expenses down. All right. Then you want to divide it by those 42 weeks. Okay. Then you want to also divide that by how many hours you're actually productive working. Because you're not working 8 and 10 hours. Okay. Because you're not getting paid for 8 and 10 hours a lot of times. Not what you're worth. Like I tell people my rate hourly, they're like, oh, Jesus. I'm like, that's because I'm worth every penny. And I have told when organizations say to me, I don't think we can afford you. And I'm like, okay, that's okay. But I had to get there. There's a book called Worth Every Penny. It's a great book. Take a look at that book. Okay. Worth Every Penny. I'll give you a few other books too. So when you look at that, you can start to look like at an hourly rate. And then also look at, but that is not your service rate. That is a value rate. That's different. Okay. But you know how you have to make up in that time. So let's say you might say it's 120, right? The hourly rate, right? If you're working 4 hours, right? That's 480. Are you going to be able to make 480 in that day? And how will you get there? Does that mean you need 5 clients and them paying you 120 a piece to do their house? Right? But that's enough to just get you to break even. So the other thing is that we don't also include a markup, right? So we do a 30% markup in different industries. Sometimes it just depends on where you are. And it's not straight across the board. So I don't want people to think that. I'm just kind of giving you an example. All right. The other thing that people don't look at is their taxes that they pay. For me, I put my tax rate 30%. It should not be any lower than 15. When you are looking at your expenses and your pricing, you have to include, because you got to pay taxes. You're a 1099. You have your own business. So it should be at no lower than 15%. A sweet spot for a lot of people is 20, 25%. I do 30. What does that mean? I'm gonna give you an example. Well, let's say somebody asked me to come speak for them, right? And I charge them, I'm thinking, wow, it's an hour. I'm gonna charge them $1,000, right? Is that good money? No, it's not. No, it's not. Right? So if I took taxes out, I'm down to $700. Now I got to get gas to go there. Right? But I'm speaking to over 100 people. Now, take my $600 and divide that by 100 people. That's $6 per person. Wow. You feel me? You see where I ended up at? Yeah. That's not to say you're going to charge every person $200, but the value there is not equitable. But if 5,000 and pull this number out, right? Your expenses, your overhead, your printouts, if you're tabling, right? And there's a return on investment, you should be getting the list when you table, right? Of attendees. Right? Let's say they ask you to come and speak, but they're not paying you. Well, can I have the attendee list? Because guess what that is for me? That's a warm list for me. Now. I'm sorry.
Any other questions from the audience?
Hi, everyone. I don't have a question. I just wanted to thank you all. This has been so valuable, seriously. And I look forward to connecting with, the women that I met today and anyone that I will be meeting in the future. This is amazing. So thank you.
Thank you, Queen. Thank you.
I'm always picking your brain and everything. I'm like a little computer. So my question to you, Mom, is, I'm picking your brain all the time, even when we home. So my question to you is, how do you differentiate yourself from different companies and different people? Because you're always having to adapt every single week, every single month, whatever it is, to pricing, to product, to whatever it is. How do you differentiate yourself from the competition? Because everybody has to have a different swagger. Everybody has to have a different product that they bring. Just like our food truck, they love our food because it's not traditional.
You know, I love my son.
We see where he gets it from.
But he's not the baby. You understand what I'm saying? So he's the baby boy, but he's not the baby. Excellent question, and it's a great question for everyone. You know what, Samara? I'm gonna let you. You wanna answer that question? Yeah.
So I believe the question was, how do you differentiate yourself in terms of pricing and by your audience, right? That's the question. I think that the most important thing to do is do your research, right? So I'll give you an example, and this is going to be funny, but I'm about to tell on myself. Before I came here today, right? Yeah, it's yesterday. I was looking a hot mess. I was in sweats for like 2 days. I went online. I knew where I was coming today, right? I got up extra early this morning. I did my hair. I put some makeup on my face. I got myself together because I knew where I was going to be today. So I think that what I did was I looked up this Dynasty studio. I looked up the guest of honor. I looked at some of the people that were commenting that they said they were coming to the event. I know that I need to, even though I'm professional, and I think Troy will agree with me, and I get dressed up, but I knew where I was going to be today. So I did my research. I'll just tell you that. I was prepared. I think the most important thing is to be prepared. You need to do your research, get up early, look into your clientele, look at where you're going to be, and prepare yourself. That's the best advice I can offer. A lot of business owners are not prepared. A lot of aspiring people are not prepared, and that's what's going to separate you from the competition. And then, I get into some spaces where I might, good morning, everyone, and my name is Samira Savory, and I'm from. And then there's other times where I'm like, how y'all doing? I'm here today. I'm here with y'all. So you got to know when to turn it on and turn it off, and you got to know your audience. That's the best advice I would be able to give.
Yes, and be authentic.
Yes.
That makes a big difference, especially now with social media has a way of making things seem real. I think people connect better with authenticity. Yes, it's not coming out correctly, but people just want you to be yourself. It's okay to put on. I'm working corporate America, so I got to put on my corporate America self. But people that know me on a personal level know that there's another personal side to me too. You got to find your balance, but just still stay true to you. Don't try to be anyone else. Don't try to subscribe to anybody else's narrative. Find what works to you and really figure out how you can connect with your audience just being your audience.
Yeah. From the technical side of that, and this is excellent. This is great because it's a foundation, right? Research. What sets us aside? What sets aside a successful business and a non-successful business is putting the time in, putting the work in, right? And I will say to you, doing the research. So photography is, and I'll use you as an example, it's a saturated industry, right? How you can set yourself apart is you have a drone license, right? That's not novelty. I'm sorry, what'd you say? Oh, I'm sorry, a federal drone license, which means that he can work anywhere in the country. He can work anywhere in the country, right? And thank you for that reminder. So that is how you would differentiate yourself. Okay, you do that SWOT analysis that you heard me talk about. That's a prime example. That's a strength, right? Now, and I also give you another, just as a young entrepreneur or an entrepreneur who is starting out, you heard Makeba say, well, one of my pain points was funding. That might be a weakness, right? Funding might be a weakness. So there is never any shame in bootstrapping, right? Y'all know what I'm talking about? Pulling your boots up, putting your big girls on, right? And going out there, when we started our food truck business, we didn't have a food truck. What we had, boo? Yeah, we was. We was dropping. We was slinging fish, right? That's how we did it, right? And listen, we were out there. I had to tell my husband, I said, look, cute and cold don't go together. Because I ain't going to be out here and it's cold. We were renting U-Hauls and we were out there diligently, consistently every weekend. Y'all hear me? You have to be consistent in business, right? If I came here, Makeba's closed, and I got an appointment, and I come back, she's open, and come back, she's closed. Guess what? I ain't coming back. I'm not coming back. You have to be consistent and you have to consistently show up. And as a people, that's something we don't do all the time. It's consistently how we show up as, and what we show up with. We're not always consistent. Well, I ain't bring that with me. What? But you have it advertised. Why don't you have it? Be one thing if now I could take more if you said I ran out of it, right? That'd be different. That's a different, you know what? I was just at a show and I ran out of it. Y'all gonna steal that, aren't y'all? Yeah. Yes.
I think also when you are on a job or you're like when someone's hired you, I also say make sure that you connect with the person that hired you after an event and observe what's going on during the event. That's how you generate more business by talking about, well, you know, I was on site and I noticed this and I noticed that, and offer suggestions. You gotta put yourself in more like a consultant mindset. And that can be, believe it or not, can be for any business.
Yeah.
I think that we lose a lot of opportunities when we get hired to do something where you show up, you do a job that we need to do, we just leave. One thing I'll say about Troy is Troy there for about 2-3 hours after the event, talking to people, but that's part of the business. So it's not just getting paid as a transaction; it's also building a relationship.
That's right. Because that's I'm in the business of relationship building, right? If you want to hire me as a program manager for an organization, whether it's federal, state, or local, right? You have to know that you can connect, and you have to know that I can connect in the community, right? It's not just about my skill set. It's about the other things that go along with my skill set. How many of you are business owners? Raise your hand real high. How many of you have a business card? Those that don't have a business card, put your, okay. How many of you have a digital business card? Okay. Blink, BLINQ. Hello, I think is another one. Hi, hello is another one. POPO. All right. Yeah. So if you don't have your business card, right? This is an economical way. I don't have business cards anymore. I just do digital. Okay. So another resource for you to tap into. But these are all things that also help you to be efficient. You talked about ChatGPT. Yes, it is AI, and it's only as good as you allow it to be.
Yes.
But you want to use it in the right way. You don't want to write a book with it
No.
because guess what? They own the rights now. The rights aren't yours. Did you know that when someone takes a picture of you, they own that picture? You don't. Even though you bought the photos. So they could post it without your approval. It's understanding. Those things are important to understand. LLC, whole nother, I'm not going to get into that, I promise I won't. But it's understanding how it can protect you, how it provides a veil for your business. But guess what? If one letter is wrong, and it does happen, you are no longer protected. So as an example of that, I got my LLC, it's EVA Enterprises, or Empowerment That Values All. Incidentally, Eva is my mother's name. But that was ordained to, like, okay, what do you want my business name to be? And that's how it came to me. And then I knew, oh my gosh, it was my mom's acronym. When I got it back from the state, it was EVA. It was like that for a couple of years. So imagine if someone sued me. I would have not been covered. Pay attention to the details in your business. Very, very important. You see, we get caught up in the system. No, that's how we get hung up in the system, right? We got brothers sitting in the penal system because they didn't know. They didn't know, right? It's not that you have to know the law, but they didn't know their rights either. Research, research, research. You don't like to read? Get Audible, right? Let it become your best friend, a Kindle, whatever. Audible reads the books for you. If you don't know how to write well, guess what? You know, it's a gift for me. Doesn't come hard for me, but it might come hard for other people. Then guess what? Take some writing classes. Practice it. Like, well, I don't have the time. Then guess what? We got time to look at a TV show. Then you got 15, 20 minutes each day to invest in yourself. And in terms of going back to differentiating yourself, that's also why you do a SWOT analysis and a gap analysis. So you will do those things to help you identify how you differentiate in the marketplace.
Black women in business. Thank you. Thank you. We're going to wrap this up. The ladies will still be here. So if you want to pick their brain, this is Black Women in Business featuring Makeba Griffin. Thank you to Miss Troy Farmer. I do hope that you took some gems today because it was a lot of information, a lot of collaboration, just sisterhood, unity, a lot of love in this space. This is not going to be the last time you see this or this event or you see us. Please make sure you get some food. Make sure you get some drinks. Make sure you get some network because that is your network. Yes, ma'am.
How do you go about promoting your business? Hey, so social media is very, very important. Even though I've been in business, y'all, since 2014, I've been doing hair back then where it was word of mouth, referrals. Social media was there, but the importance of it is more dominant and more present. I connected with the SBDC and they connected me with a marketer and branding strategist. And we are implementing some of the ideas that they gave me. We still get customers that live 2 miles away that don't know that we exist. So outside of social media, y'all need to connect with someone that specializes in that area. Because although we think we can run our ads and Facebook and Instagram ads, all that is great. That gets into the analyticals of things. People who are knowing who's in your backyard and who to really to connect with. Yeah.
One of the things for me, you know, my business is really so. As an example, so I provide. Right now, I'm here representing the SBDC, but I get contracted to work with organizations. Okay. For that, why is because obviously the outcome, impact, and the results and referrals. It's important that you leverage. You heard Samara talk about, okay, read the room, read who's in the room, make the connection. If you don't make the connections, this is why, you know, Samara can tell you, I'm like the politician, right? Or public servant. I am connecting with people, right? In a genuine way. I'm not looking for something in return, but making the connection and hopefully helping other people to make the connection to other people, right? Because if you wanted to come back to you full circle, you have to be willing to give something up as well, right? Can't all be about you when you go somewhere. Making sure that you're making the connection. The other piece of that is, yes, somebody you like Makeba said, but also making a list of who your circle of influence is. So y'all, this is more homework. You're going to make a list of your circle of influence, your COIs. Okay. And you're going to make 3 lists. You heard me say this before around any the sponsor, the ambassador, right? That goes into this, your circle of influence. So The A list is that hot list, right? People that are right next to you that can help you to connect what it is or who you're trying to get to. The B list, okay, that's the list, right? That might be those ambassadors. Who's talking about me? Who's helping me out, right? But really, they may not be out in the forefront, right? But I know that they know me, but they may not know what I'm doing. Is there opportunity there to send them an email, to thank them, to send them a card, right? All these, there's the art of sending a beautiful handwritten card is gone because we want to do everything as